Hello everybody and welcome to the fourth episode of Coding in RStudio. Today I wanted to briefly touch on a couple of the functions that are included in the Tidyverse package that I think might be helpful for day-to-day work. So we're starting up a new workspace, so we're going to have to reread in the Tidyverse package first. So we're going to hit our Control and Enter hotkeys, and then we're going to read in this fruit basket data frame. If you're following from the previous episode, I just took the data frame and added on an extra observation here so you can see that it's a 4x4 now, and I just repeated this brown basket color twice just for the sake of practice for this episode. So we're going to read in fruit basket here, and I'll go ahead and show you if you need to edit it yourself. So we have apples, bananas, cherries, and then the basket color, and it's a 4x4 rather than a 4x3. So the couple functions that I want to hit on. Let's start with the rename function. So we're going to go ahead and make the new basket data frame here. That way we're not rewriting the old data frame that we just read in. So we're setting new basket equal to fruit basket. And let's start with rename. So rename is pretty self-explanatory. It takes whatever is on the left-hand side and renames the column that is on the right-hand side to whatever's on the left-hand side. So we know there's apples, bananas, cherries, and basket for our column headers here. So let's say you have your data frame and you want to rename this column or this column or this column to something different. Let's rename apples to pineapples. When you run this, if you look back at new basket, we have overwritten what was originally the apples column header into pineapples. None of the data was manipulated, just the column header. You can do this for multiple different columns at a time. So let's say you want to do papayas instead of bananas. If you run this, new basket should have papayas in the place of where bananas was. That's all it is. It just takes whatever is in the left-hand side, it takes that text and renames it to what was originally in the right-hand side. So that's the rename function. You may find use for it in whenever you're having to do presentation data, giving it over to somebody else where you're having to make things a little bit more clear. The next one I want to go over is the function for filter. So if you're working with a lot of data and you're wanting to narrow it down based on a certain parameter that would narrow down the amount of observations that you have in a given data set, let's say we are wanting to take this fruit basket data frame. We're making a new data frame based on that, and we want to filter where apples are greater than 2 or greater than or equal to 2. That's how you write it out. It's greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. So what we're saying here is we're making a new data frame based on the original data frame where and then we are filtering out only where apples are greater than or equal to 2. So if we run this, it's only going to pull up scenarios in which apples are greater than or equal to 2. You can also do this for character vectors. So if you're wanting to only look at baskets that are brown, we would say basket equals brown. It's this double equal sign is what you'll do for filter statements. We're wanting to say filter, we're wanting to take the original data frame, make a new data frame, and then only have the baskets that are brown, and that's how it will pull up. It'll set that new data frame, and then it'll only have brown baskets as a result. So that's how the filter function works. It basically, it can help you narrow down data when you're trying to do summarization or anything customer presenting, something along those lines. Next one that we'll go over is the arrange statement. So right now under our original data frame, we'll say we're going to arrange by apples. So we have in our column 4, 1, 3, 2. Let's say I want to have this data frame where I arrange it in order of the amount of apples that are in there per each basket. So we would say arrange and then apples. So new basket, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it has now reordered the entire data frame by the amount of apples that are in there. If you wanted to do it in descending order, where it should show up, let's see, 4, 3, 2, 1, then it would be descending order apples. So now it's in 4-3-2-1. You can also do this for the character vectors. So if you're wanting to do it, if you're wanting to sort a data frame where it has basket by the alphabetical order that it falls in, we would do arrange basket. And this will show an alphabetical order where the rows fall based on basket. You can do it in descending order as well, where it should show your yellow basket first in the data frame. Yeah, so it'll have yellow, red, brown, brown based on alphabetical order. You can do it as well if you wanted to by multiple conditions. So if you wanted to do it like arrange it by apples, and then like if apples are the same, then arrange it by the amount of bananas that are in there. I don't think our data frame is set up that way, but you can give it multiple conditions to where it'll prioritize the first one. And the event, the first one is the same, that'll pass it on to the second one, so on and so forth. I use this for like when you're needing to organize something in month and then year. I would organize it by the year first, so it'll have 2023, 2023, 2023, and then January, February, March. There's a lot of applicability that can come with the arrange statement. We'll go into the case when statement next. So if you have a coding background, you've probably heard of either if statements or switch case statements or case switch statements, where it's basically saying in the event that this happens, do this, or in the event that this happens, do this. R has this as well. So if you want to do like if so-and-so here, R has this as well. But I'm going to show you how it would look inside of a data frame itself. So once again, we're setting new basket equal to fruit basket, and then we're going to say mutate. We're making a new column here with this mutate statement, or you can edit a previous column. We'll say more apples or cherries equals case when. If apples are greater than cherries, we're going to use the tilde sign here, and we'll say apples are more. We're going to separate this by a comma, and we'll say if apples are equal to cherries, same. And then if we are going to, you could write this out, logically based on our data frame that we have here, you could say cherries are less than apples, so on and so forth. But I wanted to show you this as well. When you're doing a case when statement, it's always good to have a true clause. So this basically means that in the event that this isn't satisfied or this isn't satisfied, basically saying if apples is not greater than cherries or apples is not equal to cherries, then it goes to this true statement. A true statement is your catch-all for any time that these two cases are not satisfied. And again, you can put in multiple cases however you'd like to. But this true statement, we know that it's all it's saying is like if cherries is greater than apples, but in the event that you're handling a lot of data, you can't really necessarily assume that. So we'll say true is equal to cherries more, and we will run it like that. And all this tilde here means is that like if this is satisfied, then this is what results in the cell. So we're saying new basket equal to fruit basket, and then we're mutating. We're making a case when statement, and this is the column header that says in the event that apples are greater than cherries, the cell that corresponds to that will say apples more. If apples is equal to cherries, then it says same, and then if these two are not satisfied, then we're saying cherries are more. So if we go in here, we see apples are more. Apples here is 4, cherries here is 3, so apples is more. Apples here is 1, cherries here is 6, so cherries is more, so on and so forth. But that's the purpose of a case when statement. You can use an if-else statement as well. I prefer case whens just because I think it's a little bit easier to format, but that's the general purpose of how a case when statement works. So the next one that we'll go over is the group by statement. So let's look back here at our original data frame. We'll go ahead and close this out. We have two baskets that are called brown. Let's say I have a whole bunch of rows that are like brown, red, yellow, so on and so forth. I want to figure out what the summary is of all of the fruits or all of the apples, we'll say apples, all of the apples that are in there for each brown basket. That's how the group by statement works. So think of it literally as in I am grouping by the type of basket in that data frame. So I'm grouping it by if it's a brown basket, if it's a red basket, if it's a yellow basket. So I'm saying group by basket. Now we'll do a summarize statement. So summarize takes that context that we're wanting to look per each basket type. We're wanting to summarize this. So we'll do, we're making a column header and we'll call it number of apples is equal to the sum of apples. So I just ran that. What that's going to say is we're taking the original data frame fruit basket, setting it to new basket, and then we're grouping it by the type of basket. So that would be brown, red, yellow, brown. And then we're summarizing it to where we're wanting to get the total number of apples that are in each basket type. So brown, in new basket, brown will have 6 apples, which would make sense because it's 4 apples here, 2 apples here in both brown baskets. So we're saying brown is 6 apples. There's only one red basket. It's got 1 apple in it. And there's only 1 yellow basket. It's got 3 apples in it. And that's how the group by statement works. Group by is basically just saying, like I was saying, it's just saying I want to take this data frame and group it by this specific column, or you can do multiple columns if you wanted to, and then saying, or certain cases, and you are taking those specific cell types, and then you're summarizing it based on that sort of data. So you can do like a sum, you can do minus. You can do like an average, all that sort of thing. So it's basically just summarizing it based on a certain criteria, and that's how the group by works when you're thinking about the summarize statement. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Otherwise, have a great day.